following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Up Tempo Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Lane, here tonight with my co-host, Dustin Smith, and we're here to talk some midweek Auburn sports. Dustin, there's been a lot going on the Plains, man. A lot to talk about. How you been, man?
I'm good, buddy. Quarterback, huh?
Yeah, but there's been a lot more going on to everything, man. You know, we've gotten a commit, got some edge help, a guy that can move around. He can do it all, man. He can play the jack. You know, he can help out in numerous spots. And I know a lot of people have been paying attention to what's been going on with the football talk with Casey Thompson or Peyton Thorne. But you know, man, there was some shocking news that come out today on the baseball side of things. And folks, this doesn't even have to do with Auburn, all right? But it's got to do with the folks across the state, right? It's just a little short 2-hour trip from Auburn, Alabama, right? And that is the University of Alabama's head baseball coach, Brad Bohannon, was relieved of his duties today, Dustin. Pretty wild why he was fired. Some of the wildest news that I have ever heard since I have been watching college baseball. And I tell you this, I started watching college baseball when I was a very, very young child. And this might be the wildest thing that I have ever heard in the game. My buddy was point shaving, all right? And not only point shaving, they got him talking on the phone to the cat while he is placing a bet. Bananas, off the charts. I mean, did you not think you would get caught? What's going on here, man? Like, Dustin, insane, bro.
It's 2023. You know, you can't. It's not the days of John Dillinger where you can rob a bank in Indiana and they'll go across state lines to Illinois and the cops have to watch you as you drive away because they can't cross state lines. You can't do that anymore, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some federal investigation type stuff. I mean, you can't do this. It's I'm pretty sure this is highly illegal, considering especially that you're placing bets in Ohio while you're in Louisiana. It's probably all kind of laws that were broken here, man. Still a lot of stuff to find out. They say right now they don't anticipate there being any players or any of the other coaches involved. So the first thing that I think of is I feel sorry for the players. You come to practice every day. You go to these games, and these guys are giving it their all. And then the guy that you're trusting to steer you in the right path is out here throwing games while you're on the road playing the number one team in the country. That's wild. And swift action has to be taken. They have to get ahead of it because you have to protect the integrity of the game, man.
Yeah, he'll never coach college baseball ever again.
No,
never.
Disgrace. Yeah, absolute disgrace.
Yeah, you ruined the love of the game for them kids, man. I can only imagine, and they have to play tonight. They got to play Vanderbilt tonight. You just lost your head coach because he's over here gambling. It's the most unbelievable story I've ever heard, dude. Like, how in the hell do you do this, man? Like you said, you can't get away with this. There's no way you're going to get away with it. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was one of the first people to come out and say, this story's kind of dog water, you know, like obviously some person saw LSU money line and said, hey, you know, they're playing Alabama. Paul Skeens is on the mound. They're probably going to win. But then when the state of New Jersey, all right, that was Ohio, the first state that shut everything down on the Alabama baseball team. No bets can be placed. And I kind of said, okay, well, now New Jersey's involved. And I'm sitting here going, well, that's two states. And they're saying that they're going to have to go back and look at every game that he has coached at the University of Alabama, and that this has happened numerous times. So then I started backtracking and saying, well, hold on, like this this isn't dog water. Like, there's something to this, bro. Like, this dude was really doing this to these kids. And that's what blows my mind. But, I kind of look at it, Dustin, and I see the way he acts during games. I'm not shocked. Like, I'm not shocked at his actions doing this, honestly. Like, I saw the Arkansas fans. They were like, hey, you mocked the hog call, and karma come back and got you, all right? He got ejected and went out there and, threw his hands up and all that. Just I don't know how you throw all of this away, Dustin, because you had a damn good team this year, right?
Mhm.
And you do this, and now I had a buddy text me today, so don't put me on record when I say this, but I think it's true. But my buddy's an Alabama fan. He texted me today, and he was like, hey, he also has a couple lawsuits out on him for the way he has handled arm injuries through his career at Alabama. So a couple of former players, I guess, like I said, don't quote me on that, but I believe a couple of former players have lawsuits out on him. And that was also another thing that the University of Alabama was kind of like, hey, this is your last strike, And so here we are, man. Like, Brad Bohannon, I just want to say, I'll say this: you're a disgrace to every kid on this roster. You're a disgrace, in my opinion, to the kids you were recruiting to come to the University of Alabama. And you're a disgrace to college baseball. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to the SEC. You have made the conference look like shredded cheddar today. I mean, just absolute cheese, bro. I just I can't believe it, Dustin. I really can't, man.
Yeah, it's super embarrassing, dude. It's just crazy. Yeah. And let's go big picture, man. So the year for the University of Alabama. Dude, tough year. At this point, we ended last podcast with me in jest, making a little joke about Alabama.
Yeah.
And here we are kicking it at their about their deputy AD getting arrested. Ooh. And then here we are tonight leading off the show with something about Alabama being in trouble. You go back to the Brandon Miller stuff. You go back to the what was it last week? Was the kid that was coming in the transfer portal to the basketball team? You go back to the Tony Mitchell stuff. That's just, dude. Been a rough start to the year for him, and it's I don't ever want to hear the term scam Newton ever again. I just don't want to hear it because in that time period, I 100% know for a fact. Okay, know for a fact that there were players on your team getting paid. I know one in particular. And then when it comes to, did we pay Cam Newton some money? For sure. Just like everybody's been doing. So for you to stand on like you're on this holier than thou ground, I ain't hearing it. So they always like to call us little brother. I'm looking at big brother and saying, dang, dude, get your shit together.
Hey, Cam said it was an ongoing investigation. Okay. And guess what, Brad? You have found yourself in an ongoing investigation. But in my opinion, for something totally bizarre and way worse than anything that Cam Newton ever did. So, I'll be honest with you on how I feel about it, Dustin. Go eat shit, Brad Bohannon, because you toyed with these kids, bro. You toyed with them, and you were having a hell of a season. Alabama baseball had been down for a little while. You were having a pretty damn good season. They beat us 2 out of 3. They had some quality wins. They took Florida to the brink. They were a solid baseball team. Had a couple arm injuries here and there. I know Grayson Hitt was a big loss. They lost him while they were playing us in that series. So I feel bad for look, we're Auburn fans through and through, man, but this is probably one of the only times that I will feel bad for a group of the University of Alabama athletes, man. This is shocking, dude.
Blake, he sat in their living rooms and looked their parents in the face and said, "You can trust me to take care of your kid."
Yeah.
Knowing he was doing this kind of stuff. just unbelievable, man. It speaks to just a lack of character that you have no moral compass. You have no character.
Mm-hmm.
You're out here. Think about it, dude. Everybody's at this game. You got fans in the stands. You got umpire. This whole event is going on, and you yourself are jeopardizing the entire integrity of it. And this game has been played in this country since I mean what, late 1800s, like since forever, dude. This is America's pastime, all that. And here you are, and it's happened before. And here's the thing about it, buddy. The Black Sox was over 100 years ago at this point. Everybody knows what they did. Everybody knows their names. That it hasn't been forgotten. Pete Rose, everybody knows the deal. One of the greatest players ever. But he did something that you cannot do. It's never going to be forgotten. You will never be able to wash yourself from this because you jeopardized, like I said, the very integrity of what we're doing out here. And now more than ever, with legalized sports betting, they have to come down hard on it. They have to really jump on top of it. They can't let it get out of hand because remember last year when people literally were tweeting out and saying on social media that the NFL is scripted and they get WWE scripts.
Mm-hmm.
And people are really believing this type stuff. They have to come out and jump ahead of this, dude. And I will say for the University of Alabama in general, there has to be repercussions when you allow people and institutions to continue to skate by without punishment. You get a mess like what you have at the start of this 2023. You keep letting them skate and never coming down hard on them, but yet every time Auburn farts, here you come with the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just not. This is what happens. This is what happens. It's like a kid that you don't punish, and now he's acting up in the grocery store, and you can't get him to calm down.
You're right, man. Insane story. All right. Just like we said, pray for them kids, man. Pray for them dudes and what they're going through right now. Like I said, they're playing a game against Vanderbilt tonight and they're having to deal with this crap. Like feel for them, man. Feel for the University of Alabama baseball team. Honestly, even though we're Auburn fans, just do that for us tonight. Feel for those kids, man, because they're in a tough spot. They're in a tough situation. But Dustin, man, let's move on to what we have on the Plains this weekend. And my man, we have the #1 LSU Bayou Bengals baseball team coming to the Plains, my friend. This is a very, very talented squad, but the Auburn Tigers look to be on fire with going to Columbia, South Carolina last weekend, taking 2 of 3 from the Yardcocks. And look, man, this is another ginormous opportunity. Okay. And I feel like there has been some rumbling on Twitter and Auburn has made some moves to really pull people to Plainsman Park this weekend. I know graduation weekend, everything's going to be a little more jam packed in there. All right. There's going to be a little bit more motion on campus and everything. So look, really get in there. All right. Jam it out. All right. Pack it out. And get loud one time because let me tell you something. When they let that eagle go over Plainsman Park, I mean this place better erupt, dude, because that I think that's going to be awesome. It's a first timer, all right. Never happened. They're going to let it happen, and I think it's pretty damn cool, man. I think that's special. I think that's going to be something to see. But Friday night, I got to hit on this, man. Our guy Chase Alsop getting the start Friday night. All right. Auburn releases the starting rotation. Chase Alsop on Friday, Tommy Vale on Saturday, and Christian Herberholtz on Sunday. Dustin, how are you feeling about this weekend, the fans, everything I just talked about, but also this pitching rotation that Butch Thompson has set out for the Auburn Tigers?
The Eagle's going to be sick, dude. That is going to be so cool, man. My brother, he's not going to be able to go, and he was going to give me his tickets before he sold them, and that almost makes me want to go. If the tickets weren't in Tiger Terrace, I would go. But I'm not driving 3 hours to not be able to see. So it's just it kind of is what it is there. And the game starts at 8 o'clock because, they'll be doing graduation and all that. So that's a really late start. But dude, that's going to be sick. It's so cool. It makes you almost want to make the drive and go up there. And I think you got to win when you do that for the first time. It's like,
no doubt.
You can't lose now. As far as the rotation, man, I double checked it to make sure I wasn't looking at it wrong. The thing that worries me about it is this. Just honestly haven't seen too many good things from Chase this year. And I don't like it on Friday night because if he gets run in an inning in the third, here we are dipping into our bullpen game 1. I'm going to trust Bush Thompson, but we'll be back here on Sunday and we'll see how this goes. Because if it goes bad and we have to use 5-6 guys, I don't get it.
Here's my thing, Dustin. Okay. I think Butch is saying you're throwing Paul Skeens, the best pitcher in America, right? So LSU's going to come with Paul Skeens. Excuse me, let me adjust my mic real quick. Sliding down on me there for a minute. Okay, so LSU's coming with Paul Skeens, number 1 pitcher in America. All right, I mean he's going to win every award imaginable. The dude's got like a what is it? A 1.93 ERA. All right, he's 8-1. Okay, yeah. I mean I've rarely seen him get touched up. All right, so you're throwing that guy. You can't waste Tommy Vale on Paul Skeens. Okay. You can't waste Christian Herberholtz on Paul Skeens. So who do you waste on Paul Skeens? You waste Chase Awesome. I agree with it. I like it. I think it's a great move from Butch because what are we looking at, Dustin? Win 1 game. Win 1 game. All right. You want to win 2. But win 1 game. Make sure you get one of these. All right. Because then Saturday, LSU's coming back with Ty Floyd. He has a +4 ERA. All right. He's almost got a 5 ERA. Okay. He gives up runs. All right. We've seen Ole Miss. We've seen Alabama. We've seen numerous teams put up runs on this LSU pitching staff. If you can get to their bullpen, they will give up runs. All right. And then I think they have Christian Little going Sunday. I think he has close to a 5 ERA as well. He's sporadic. He transferred from Vanderbilt. Mikey, in our episode with him, he talked about him a little bit. Look, man, I think you're really shooting for Saturday and Sunday. And I don't want to have this loser type attitude where I'm just saying, oh, win 1 game. No, I'm looking at bigger picture, Auburn fans. All right. Do I want to take 2 out of 3 from the number 1 team in the country? Absolutely. Okay. Yes, I want to take 2 of 3, Dustin, but I'm looking at bigger picture. All right. I'm looking at what can get us into the NCAA tournament, the field of 64. And that is if you win 1 game this weekend and you win your next 2 series, you're a lock. All right. And the reason why I know you're a lock, Dustin, is because D1 baseball projections have come out and they have put us off the line of the first 5 out, right? They put us into the tournament as a 3 seed in the Miami Regional down in Coral Gables. How cool is that? They have us rematching Indiana as the 2 seed. Stacked regional, all right? But you're in the tournament. So you win 1 game this weekend, you're in mighty damn good shape, Dustin. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, so you just won your series versus the number 1 RPI team. That probably means more in the end than the polls, right? Yeah. So you just took a series versus number 1 team. The way the committee is going to look at it, the way they're going to seed it out, what goes into the analytics of it. So, yeah, win a game this weekend and then handle your business in these next couple of midweek games. Quit dropping those like we talked about. Luckily, we didn't have one this week. And then handle your business versus Ole Miss and Missouri. Win those series. Just take 2 out of 3 in those series. It doesn't have to be nothing crazy. And then you finish the season winning 4 of your 5 SEC series. You said, okay, we lost. We won. We took 1 out of 3 versus LSU. Under that scenario, you're probably not a 3 seed anymore. You're probably going to be a 2 seed. You probably finish out as a 2 seed, win a couple games in the SEC tournament, maybe make some noise, and you're really good to go. So yeah, this is not winning last weekend. And then off the back of winning that Mississippi State series gave you some breathing room. Don't get swept this weekend. Don't lose the momentum you've gained, but this gives you some breathing room. And I like we talked about Sunday. I like the fact that we're going to be fresh. Everybody's good to go. No midweek game. I like where we sit, man. I like where we sit. And you make good points. I didn't think about that with also going Friday and just saying, hey, let's take Saturday and Sunday. So let me ask you this. Who then, when Chase comes out, let's go. Perfect scenario. Let's say he gives us 4 good innings. Who's the first guy out the pen then? You want it to be Bauman?
No.
You want to save all those guys?
Yeah, you want to save
Oakland too.
Yeah, I don't care if you throw Trevor Horn.
Okay.
You said, look, obviously you can't get beat 24-5, you know. But maybe you throw if Crotchfeldt's okay to throw. Maybe you throw him. Maybe
I would like that.
You know,
that's interesting, man. You make good points with that. And here's the deal for Chase. Step up. You're getting the ball on Friday night again. Take advantage of it, man. There's plenty of guys on this pitching staff that are pitching well now that started off rough. Take their example. Do what Copeland did. Grab that opportunity by the balls, man. You're getting the ball on Friday night versus the number 1 team in the country. It can go one of 2 ways. You can fade underneath the bright lights, or you can take your damn job back.
Yeah, great point. This is what everybody was expecting at the beginning of the year, right? 2 guys that can buzz, upper 90s. Paul Skeens letting it go at 99, 100 miles an hour. Chase also buzzing 96, 97, 98 at times. So, you were expecting this matchup at the beginning of the year. Chase also, Paul Skeens, 2 guys that were really trending up at the beginning of the year. Paul Skeens, he delivered. Chase also has not. So that's how the cookie crumbles. And, good luck to the Auburn baseball team this weekend. Like always, we'll be pulling for you. We're excited. A lot of the Auburn faithful looks to be heading to the Plains this weekend, seeing a lot of activity on Twitter. So that is really nice to see. And good luck to the Tigers, man. We're really pulling for you. We will be tuned in, locked and loaded, and getting rowdy. So, Dustin, moving on, man, from the baseball side of things, not much really happening on basketball right now. So we're going to skip that talk tonight. Still waiting on some things to fall in place on the hardwood. So let's jump over here to the football side of things, man. And let's talk about a big-time commitment that the Auburn Tigers locked down. And they get help at the edge with the App State transfer, Jalen McLeod, man. A position in need for the Auburn Tigers, especially, we've had a couple guys depart out in the front 7, and I know there's still a couple of more needs in that department for Auburn, but this guy, turn on the film against Texas A&M, man. I mean, the dude is a dog, and exactly what the Auburn Tigers needed. So how do you feel about Jalen McLeod, man?
Well, the most important thing to me is what you mentioned in the intro talking about him. There's some versatility. He can play a little bit of inside linebacker. He can do some of that. And obviously he's going to play a lot of jack and a lot of edge. And I believe what we're hearing the game plan is going to be now with the departure of Emba, you're still going to see Keldrick Falk in his edge position, but he's big enough to play that defensive end position opposite side where the jack is going to be. He's going to do that now because Emble is just going to get significant reps there. So now Keldrick will probably slide into that 2 spot there behind Marcus Harris and take that role as well. And they'll rotate him in on edge and all that. McLeod probably not big enough to play on 1st and 2nd down unless you're in like a 2nd and 17, obvious passing situation or something like that.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, versatility, maybe you can put him out there and he can do some different things in zone, all that kind of stuff. So I like it. And they say that the NFL scouts called the Sun Belt SEC AAA.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I've heard. I've heard that on several different NFL draft prospect podcasts that I was watching leading up to the draft. Heard that from multiple places. So they got talent in the Sun Belt. It's usually guys like this that are 3-star type players. They're just they're considered a little bit too small. And me personally, dude, when it comes to the portal, if I have my option between a guy like this coming from a Group of 5 team, a Sun Belt team, but a team we respect like App State, going from beautiful campus to beautiful campus, by the way, right? But a team like that you respect, I would rather have a guy from the Sun Belt, a Group of 5 team that had some good numbers and has some success, that is ready to prove himself at the next level, versus getting a 4 or 5 star from a Big Ten team that hadn't panned out. Give me the cat from the smaller school that's been told he's too small, he's too this, whatever, that didn't lose a battle for whatever reason. He was starting at his school and just wants to come over here and make a name. He's got 2 years of eligibility left, so that helps. It's not just a 1-year rental. And so I'm excited for him, man. His numbers last year, he 41 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and 8 quarterback hurries. And like you said, gave A&M hell in that game. So a high motor kid that plays with high energy is going to be motivated to get out here and make it happen. So, and to me, and I get all the quarterback talk. We're about to get into some of it. I get all that. But like, for me, man, this is the biggest position in need. This is my biggest concern coming out of A-Day and out of the spring is I love to see our offensive line finally getting some push, but that defensive line they pushed around was our defensive line. That's the contradictions of the spring games, right? So, and we are thin there. We just are thin on the D-line. We're thin at that edge. We're thin at that jack position. So this is a huge, huge get for us, a huge depth piece, and I'm fired up for it.
Man, love the breakdown, Dustin. I'm excited, and when we started hearing it and it really getting into motion, we really started getting excited, especially like you mentioned after Mba hit the portal. In my opinion, that was a mistake.
Yeah, all right. You're gonna get reps, buddy.
Man, you were in the 2 deep. What are you doing? Like in Purdue? That you go to Purdue? Like what? I mean, massive mistake in my opinion. Massive mistake.
And I doubt he was just given a starting spot, right? Like he's probably at least starting off at the 2 there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, easy. Yeah, they weren't like, hey, you're a starter. Right. No, you're gonna have to come in and compete, and just like you were doing at Auburn. So, a part of me, Dustin, kind of thought of it like this when I saw his name go into the portal. I just kind of said, look, this is a guy that, like you mentioned last episode, this is a guy that was recruited by Harsin, right? And I think this is a guy that just said, hey, look, this isn't Brian Harsin. This isn't the guy that recruited me. I don't really care to be here. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you kind of got is, yeah, he might have played. All right, he was on the 2 deep. Right, he was getting reps during the spring game and everything, but I think he was just kind of clocked out. He was like, hey, this ain't the guy that recruited me, so I'm out of here. It is what it is. Good luck to him. Man, wish you all the best. Let's move over to the quarterback position, Dustin. Moving on along, man. Look, is Peyton Thorne the next quarterback? We will start there. Michigan State transfer. Got 2 years of eligibility left. Led Michigan State to an 11-2 season 2 years ago. So the dude can play. All right. They took a little step back last year. Obviously, he didn't have the talent around him like he did the previous year. But he still threw for 19 tutters and 11 picks. All right. Jarrett Stidham, go check his numbers. If you think this guy isn't putting up great stats, because I think Jarrett Stidham only threw for 18 tutters both of his years. I think he threw for 18 on both of them, honestly. So 19 touchdowns in a year, I'll take it. Okay. Let's go to TJ Finley transferring. All right. That's really what opened up the door for this to happen. Well, the Auburn Tiger fan base see Casey Thompson enter the portal, Dustin. What was the first thing that was said, Dustin, when Casey Thompson entered the portal? There's QB1. There's QB1. There he is. That's him. He's Himothy. He's him. All right. We got to get him because of why, Dustin? Robbie's trash, bro. Robbie's trash. This is an upgrade, dog. Homie, I'm telling you, go watch the tape, dog. All right. Yeah, I watched the tape. As a matter of fact, I watched him live last year. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. All right. But I said, what did I tell you a couple weeks ago, Dustin? Is all these cats on Twitter, as soon as somebody hits the portal, it's immediately, he's him, bro. He's Himothy. All right. You want to know what it is? Auburn fans are tired of losing. So Auburn fans are impatient. That's what it is. All right. You have no idea if Ben Bryant from Cincinnati was him. Okay. You had zero idea. You've never seen Ben Bryant take a snap. All right. Like, stop. Stop. And you're on here, he's him. All right. He's an upgrade. Stop it. Now, what did I text you last Friday when Peyton Thorne hit the portal?
That's the one. Yeah.
I immediately text you and I said, there he is. Yeah. I said, that's the guy. 2 years eligibility left. Go watch his tape. Get on YouTube. Watch the way he spins it. Dude's good, man. All right. But I know on this podcast, we're not giving up on Robbie Ashford either. Because I can tell you, all right, for any fan out there who wants to sit here and say, oh, well, Robbie's trash. All right, Robbie's trash. Yeah. Does he have some problems throwing the football with accuracy and everything? Is his mechanics a little messed up? Yeah, they are. All right. We're not shying away from that on this podcast. We're not. He could barely get to 50% last year. All right. But he's going to be on the field. He just is. He's too much of a playmaker. He's too much of an athlete. He's too quick with the ball in his hands. He's too elusive. He can go Mississippi State. Go back and watch Mississippi State game. Pops, bro. Like flash, just like that. A cut to the sideline. See ya. Gone. Yep. House call. All right.
It's next level athleticism. It's rare athleticism.
He's going to play. He's going to be on the field. Is he going to be the starting quarterback? I don't know. All right. But Dustin, like Mike G said last night, like you said yesterday afternoon on Twitter, all right, appreciate the shout out, Mike G from the Uptempo podcast, the War Report. We appreciate everything you guys have done for us so far in this short little journey of mine and Dustin's. But Auburn will start a quarterback next year. That is proven. All right. Here's my thing, Dustin. Do you honestly think Hugh Freeze is going to let us trot out there in September of 2023 and let us look like a clown show?
No, dude. I mean, look at the people he's won games with. He won games with Bo Wallace, and I'm not saying Bo Wallace is a scrub, but he's certainly not.
He wasn't great.
He's not great leader, man. Like Hugh's won games with plenty of guys. The guys that he took over with at Liberty, he never won less than 8 games at Liberty, and they had played 1 year of Division I football.
Yeah.
Look at what he did. I mean, he signed top 5 classes at Ole Miss. Like, it's on the field, off the field. Hugh Freeze is about it, dude. Like, I just trust him. He's never coached a game at Auburn. His resume speaks for itself. To me, it's kind of the same thing as when Brian Kelly went to LSU, and there were people like, "Is this going to work? Is this going to work?" Have you seen this cat's record?
Yep.
And it's not a situation. I know we saw with Brian Harsin where it was like the record. Nah, he's won big games at Cincinnati, won big games at Notre Dame. Yeah. You know Brian Kelly's a big-time coach. You know that Hugh Freeze is a big-time coach. Hugh Freeze has proven this. He's proven it. If you saw what Malik Willis was at Auburn and then what Hugh turned him into a third-round pick, then I ask you, which is all a college job is, a coach's job is, whatever happens to that player in the NFL is that, right? I got to get you to the league.
Yep.
To turn Malik Willis into a third-round pick when we saw what he was, very talented but raw.
Yep.
How would you not have faith that Hugh can win games with Robbie Ashford? I don't understand that. And I'm gonna tell you, and this isn't like I had this initial reaction, but I've seen other people record podcasts since then. So this is not like, I'm not claiming this is my take at this point because several people have put it out. But listen, bro, this idea that us getting Thompson or Thorne is our only avenue to making a bowl game is the stupidest take out there from the national media. We went 5-7. with some of the worst coaching Auburn has ever seen. That's
Yep.
one win away from a bowl game. And I can point to that LSU game. I can point to some other games and say, should have won them games. Mississippi State should have won that game. Like, could have had 7 wins, really, with all that stuff going on. So to just act like everything depends on something happening, we can win a game. We can win games with Robbie Ashford at quarterback. We went to Tennessee in 2013, Blake. We beat the brakes off them in Neyland Stadium, and Nick Marshall went 2 for 3 passing.
Yeah.
Me and you been texting back and forth. What have I been saying? I don't give a damn how you move the sticks. Just move them things, bro. I don't care how it gets done. I don't care. So if Robbie has to throw 12 passes, but we got 400 rushing yards as a team, and they're scrambling, trying to figure out who to stop on the zone read, Jarquez or Robbie, I don't care. Would I like to see us have a nice balance of both? Yeah, but don't kid yourself. Peyton Thorne, if I had to put money on it, will be your starter week 1. And everybody knows how much I love Robbie. But don't kid yourself. We're going to run the ball way more than we pass the ball next year, regardless of who's at QB. So overall, my thoughts on it are you have to have somebody, because with the guys on the roster, you've got, 8, 9 games of starting experience total now. So you definitely got to bring in a guy. You're bringing in a guy who's played in big-time games at Michigan State. Big Ten is right there on the SEC's level at this point. It's pretty much neck and neck when you look at stuff like the NFL draft. So he's played in those big moments. He's not going to be intimidated when we go to Baton Rouge. He's not going to be intimidated when Georgia comes in. And like you said, the kid can spin it. That's what I like. That's what jumps off to me. He can really spin that thing. And 19 touchdowns to 11 interceptions in a really bad system and a really bad year. If that's your floor, that's pretty good. That's you in a bad year. And then I saw what you were in a good year.
Yeah.
Hey, and so this is a guy that I'm excited about. And like you said, you can still get the ball in Robbie's hands. You have to. You can't leave that type of a dynamic athlete off the field on the sideline. So it's interesting. It all kind of sees now, because doesn't it just feel like if it was going to be Thompson, you would have wrapped it up on Monday or Tuesday, right?
See, that's my thing. Is I felt like if it was Casey Thompson, this thing would have already been a done deal.
Right.
It would have been wrapped up. It would have been done. There would have been a photo session. I think there would have been, the press conference to end the recruiting visit. I know he left without giving one. So that's my thing, man, is you take the photos, you get the graphic made. It would have already been announced, in my opinion. That's just me, though, Dustin.
Yeah, I think it's the shoulder, because Robbie's got shoulder issues. They popped up again in the spring. Do you want your first and second option to both be guys that you have serious shoulder concerns over?
Okay, so here's my thing with this, and this is what I was trying to point out to the Auburn faithful. Okay, is me and you talked about it, like you just said. All right, you bring in Casey Thompson, shoulder surgery in the offseason. Bang. All right, they're saying that's why he lost the job at Nebraska to the was a Jeff Sims guy. All right. So he had off-season shoulder surgery. What happens when he comes in? He's QB1, starting quarterback, and he gets hurt. So now you got to go to Robbie. All right. Well, Robbie has shoulder issues. Robbie gets hurt. Well, guess what? Now you got to go to Holden. All right. Here you are, third-string quarterback, right. No backup.
Hank Brown.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. It's got to be Peyton Thorne. And look, Casey Thompson, if you do the 1 year thing, right? All right. So if you do the 1 year thing, he plays. Then does Robbie transfer? All right. Does Holden transfer? All right. Because then you got Walker coming in. Yeah, does Hank transfer? Like what do you do when at least when you have Peyton Thorne, you got 2 years. Mm-hmm. All right. You got 2. In my opinion, if you go Peyton Thorne, that means you're 2 years with Peyton, and then you are priming that next year for Walker. All right. you're really no offense to Hank or anybody in that quarterback room, just me, because I think Hugh is all about Walker. Okay. And what other better guy to learn from than Peyton Thorne, a guy that's been around the block, like you said, played in big games, right? That's where I think it goes. All right. Do not give up on Robbie Ashford. Stop getting on Twitter and calling him fucking trash, man. Like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing that. I'm tired of it. It's exhausting. The dude is on your damn football team. The dude plugged in for your team last year. And when your coach was fired, Cadillac takes over. He's your damn quarterback. He leads you to a huge win at home against Texas A&M. I know they were a bad football team, but damn it, he won a game. All right. Electric atmosphere. He almost brought you from behind in Starkville. That was an 8-4 football team. 9-4 because they won their bowl game. All right. We should have won that game.
Yeah. He was busted up that game too.
And like, man, stop. Just stop. Look, do I agree with some of the things that are said on Twitter? I agree with some of them about him mechanically and everything. Yes, I do agree. All right. But stop calling him trash, dude. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. Like, it's old. The kid's going to play. He's going to play.
My problem with it is, Blake, you're discounting what he does with his feet. You're acting like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it matters. When the guy, when he has 100-something rushing yards, when they have to account, just listen, don't take my word for it. Listen to what the other coaches say about him. Listen to what the opposing teams say about him. Several games at the end of the last year, they go, that number 9 was a problem. He leaves them in the dust. He's an elite athlete. Those kind of guys, Hugh Freeze will find a way. If Peyton Thorne's the starter next year, which all signs point to it, if that's the case, Robbie's going to find ways to get on the field, and he's one injury away. And then you're in a great situation because now your backup quarterback is a guy that started 8-9 games. So he's not just you're not just going, oh goodness, he's not just thrown it, in the wind all of a sudden with no idea what to do. He's gonna be ready to go. And in that scenario, you know how Robbie is. He's gonna be hungry. Like, I'm gonna show you why I should have been QB1. And then, like you said with Thorne, sets up perfect. And it's no disrespect, like you said, to Holden or anybody like that.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if Holden finished his career at Auburn. And I think he's a talented player. I think he's got a good opportunity. I think he's a good player. I think he's got a very nice release. I love the way the ball looks out of his hand. It's a nice, tight spiral. I think in the right system, but he's a Harsin guy. And we've just seen there's not any Harsin guys left. He's about the only one. And I think he decided to say, look, I'm going to give this one more year and see how this goes. But Hugh picked Walker White for a reason. And you see how excited Walker White is to be at Auburn. You see obviously how excited Hugh is to have him. I mean, he's basically on staff with us at this point as a recruiter. They're constantly communicating, back and forth. So that's a great relationship. So it all just kind of seems like, it's like when you get a new GM, right? All of a sudden you're looking at the coach like, okay, he didn't hire this guy. That coach better show out this year or he's on the block. It just kind of feels that way with the Holden situation. You're a Harsin guy. System's not really designed for you. Sure, you can make it work, but ultimately, man, I would just be shocked if he finished out because I think it's going to be Peyton, and then you hand it off to Walker, and that's the ideal scenario.
I agree 100%. And I agree with the Holden thing. Like, I just don't see him staying at Auburn. I think he transfers, and look, kudos to him, man. Go show out, if that ends up being the case, right? If that ends up being the case, go show out. I want you to do just amazing things wherever you go, so, but like I said, don't give up on Robbie. That's where I'm leaving it. Don't give up on Robbie, man.
Hey,
not yet.
Spring's over, right? So Peyton's still going to have to learn the system.
Yeah. Don't give up on him. That's all I'm saying.
He's a competitor.
That's a fact. Dustin, let's close this thing out tonight with your final topic. I know you wanted to touch on this. The Under Armour contract for the Auburn Tigers, man. Could Auburn potentially be going to Nike Jordan brand. Who? Adidas, maybe? I don't know. Who does Auburn re-sign with Under Armour? I don't know, Dustin. You know more about it than I do. Hopefully they get away from Under Armour. I hate it. I can't stand it. It sucks. Their shoes are terrible. Their clothing is terrible. Everything about it is terrible, in my opinion. All right? I hate it. Steph Curry is sponsored by Under Armour. It's another reason why I hate it. All right?
Damn.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just that mouthpiece, bro, it kills me. Like when he just stands there and chews on the mouthpiece. But anyway, back to Auburn. Yeah, man, the Under Armour contract. Where are you at with this?
I just listen to the recruits. Like for me, just as a fan, yes, I would like for our official gear to be cooler than what Under Armour puts out. It's just their sideline gear and all that's just not cool looking. It's kind of trash. But I don't really care because you can still go to places like Alumni Hall, J&M, and get really cool Auburn stuff. You don't have to. It doesn't really affect my gear as far as all that goes. But I do care about what the recruits and all that care and how they feel about it. And I'll use Cam Newton as an example. So when Cam's the number 1 draft pick coming out of his Heisman Trophy national championship, amazing season that he has with us, he signed with Under Armour pretty much because of the relationship that he had coming out of college. So there is a connection there. And then that was 2011. So Under Armour was probably in a little bit of a better spot then because they came on the scene hot. They started off as just like a football brand. I remember when they came on around 03, 04, and then we signed with them in 05, and it was like a big deal at the time. We had the commercials where Tubbs was walking out the tunnel, click clack and all that. And it hasn't hurt. Those were so corny, dude. Do you remember the one with Steve Spurrier?
I don't, but you remember the one where they're like, "We must protect this house," you know, like he's on the bus and everything.
Yeah. So they had one with Spurrier where the guy, he runs a 40, and then the scout calls Spurrier. And
I do remember that.
Spurrier goes, "He ran a what?"
Yeah.
And oh hell, click clack, and then he hangs the phone.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And by the way, South Carolina, they're at Under Armour school and they're recruiting their asses off. It ain't bothering them a bit. So it's not like an end all be all. I think honestly, Blake, because I don't know how much it matters in football, I think, but not that, whatever. Like a lot of football, like a defensive tackle, a big, nasty offensive. Hopefully those guys don't care too much about what they got on. And me personally, I don't give a damn if we go back to Russell. Give me Russell jerseys and put them back on Jefferson Pilot Sports for all I care.
Oh, Jefferson Pilot. Oh,
JP.
That Jefferson Pilot. Gross. That's nasty work of you, dog. That is nasty work. I don't want to ever go back to Jefferson Pilot.
Out there, you think your satellite's messed up? You're out there messing with it. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That's just JP, baby.
Now you get 400 games a Saturday on TV, and remember like back in the day when you would play like Western Kentucky and you had to pay $49.99 and rent it on pay-per-view. Yeah. That was wild.
Channel 899 on DirecTV.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
That was wild.
Now you're just sitting there trying to remember your password and hoping to God ESPN Plus doesn't crap out on you and all that kind of stuff. But I just think ultimately, man, I think it helps more for basketball. Because if you're a big time basketball recruit and then you're going into the NBA, those relationships, like I talked about with Cam, I think it plays like the shoe deals in the NBA and in basketball are a lot more important than they are in the NFL and football. I think that signing with a school like Jordan or Nike can really, really, I think it would actually have a positive benefit on us, especially in the basketball recruiting realm. And then just the jerseys could be cooler, right?
Who wore Nike? Basketball. Who wore Nike? Biggest name to ever do it. All right. Yeah. Michael Jordan. Okay. Michael Jordan. That's who you need to be with. All right. Look, I know the team across the state is sponsored by Nike.
Everybody is, though.
Yeah. Everybody is. All right. I know Jordan Brand has some weird thing where they only do like 2 or 3 schools per conference and whatever. And I know Oklahoma's coming in. I know Florida's Jordan Brand. So, whatever. All right. I don't know who the other team whatever. But man, I think you got to go to Nike just because Under Armour will never be Nike. Okay. Nike, the swoosh is, I'll be honest with you. If you catch me in a Under Armour shirt or Under Armour shorts, I'll be straight up with you. It's because I have nothing left in my name. All right. And the only thing I will wear of Under Armour is Auburn stuff. Okay. I got a couple pullovers and things like that. But Nike it's the cream of the crop, man. And I think it would help tremendously in basketball, like you said. Don't nobody want to wear no damn Under Armour shoes to hoop. Okay.
No. That's a
They're
fact.
trash. And I saw was it Bree Ellis on Twitter the other day saying that some of the softball girls have the most trouble with their cleats because the Under Armour
all the time.
Yeah, she said the cleats were ass, bro, and she was like, our feet hurt constantly, and she was like, but we have to wear them because we're in Under Armour school. That's whack, bro. I'm sorry. I just think we need to make the switch. That's where I'm at on it. So, Dustin, closing this thing out, man. We got a solid 50. We're at 51 minutes right now, man. That is lovely to see. And we have been rolling through these things, man. So a lot of information come down on the plains and the thing with the Brad Bohannon at the University of Alabama. Absolutely insane story there. It was a really fun night. And like always, I'm going to leave you for your final thoughts and final words, man.
If you were one of the people that had a problem with the way Wander Franco flipped the ball and threw it to first base yesterday, please, if you follow me on Twitter, unfollow me. If you subscribe to this podcast, please unsubscribe to it. I don't have time for you crazy people. What the hell is wrong with you?
Dustin, you hit the nail on the head, and I'm so glad you brought that up, my friend. Grow up, all right? Grow up. Grow up. He's good at what he does. He's a MLB superstar, okay? He's got 15 more years in the league. Get over yourself. Be mad, but get over it, all right? Because he's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep showing out. Guess what it does, all right? It gets Tampa Bay Rays fans interested in the game. Some kid probably saw that and said, hey, mommy, daddy, all right? I want to go watch Wander Franco play. That was pretty damn cool, all right? Get over yourself. I'm sick of seeing it, bro. Baseball needs stuff like that. Yeah. Baseball needs Fernando Tatis dancing out in the outfield at Wrigley Field when people are sitting there just giving it to him about steroids, all right? I don't give a damn that he took steroids. I want to see him hit them. I want to see him hit them bombs, Dustin. I want to see him hit them 496 feet, bro. And then I want to see him out there, just getting down in right field. I don't care that you put a needle in you taking steroids. Barry Bonds did it, baby. And Barry Bonds, in my opinion, is the GOAT, okay? The GOAT. Man had 2 different Hall of Fame careers, one in Pittsburgh, one in San Francisco. I don't care about the steroid stuff, all right? I can tell you this. A lot of people are on a lot of different shit.
Yeah.
All right? It's factual, bro. Like, so many people are on so many different things. And you're going to sit here and get mad because Fernando Tatis is out there dancing in the outfield and Wander Franco is spinning the ball up to us. Bro, I thought it was sick. I said, that boy's out here being disrespectful with it.
Like, I watch the Rays a lot, and that's just the way he plays the game. That's just the way that Wander plays. I disagree with you a little bit on the steroid stuff, only from the standpoint of and we'll go off on a whole thing with this. My thing is for the guy that is not on steroids and trying to follow the rules, and then his pitches are getting yoked. That's where the issue comes in for me. As far as Wander Franco goes, it's like, dude, that's the way he plays the game. Like you said, it gets Rays fans to the park. The Rays struggle with attendance. And there's a reason why they struggle with attendance, because they put the team in St. Petersburg, and it takes you an hour to cross the bridge from Tampa to get to Tropicana Field. And Tropicana Field, honestly, is a dump. but they have worked out.
It
Like,
is.
they've agreed to a new stadium and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, they end up putting it in Tampa, around Raymond James, around Amalie Arena, around the center of the city where everybody can get to it, because it's just hard to cross that bridge. So the Rays struggle with attendance, but it's starting to rise. It's like, especially the weekends, because just be honest with you, during the week, ain't nobody going across that bridge at 5 o'clock to get to a 6 o'clock game. Because I'm telling you, it takes like an hour to get over that bridge.
Yeah.
No one's going to deal with that for a game on a Tuesday, and then they're not going to get back home till midnight and they got work the next day. They're not going to do that. But the weekend games, the attendance is skyrocketed. When the Yankees come to town in a couple weekends, when y'all come in, they're going to take the tarps off the top. They're expecting 35, 40,000 people. A lot of that is Wander Franco, the top minor league baseball prospect from a couple years ago, is showing out, and he's fun to watch. He hits home runs and he flips the bat. Oh, God. He flipped the ball up and then threw it to first. Oh, goodness. Why do you like? I don't get the problem with it. Now, if he does that and then he sails it over the first baseman's head, fair game. Clown him.
Yeah.
But he threw the guy out. That's not what happened. He's a flashy player. He talks. That's the way that Wander Franco plays the game. And do you want baseball to die? I don't. But guess what? This generation of kids, they're not like me and you, man. Like, we didn't care. We liked baseball. We liked the game that was baseball. Like, and now that I'm older, like I talked about the other day, I love the old-timey aspect of it, the traditional aspect of it. But these 10-year-old TikTok kids, they don't care about none of that, man. And they're not going to, because they didn't grow up like that. It's a different time. So these flashy guys that talk trash and all that, yeah. Now, with Tatis, you can go two ways with it. You can do what Ryan Braun did and call everybody liars and all this kind of stuff and destroy people's reputations. You could, and take this whole thing or wherever. You can do what Alex Rodriguez did and never admit any kind of fault and take it to court and do all this kind of stuff. Or you can just dance to it and just embrace it. So I don't have a problem with fights in baseball. I don't have a problem with bat flips. None of this stuff. It's fun. The game needs it. The game needs it. In a time where everyone is on their phone constantly scrolling and it's fast-paced, me, now, you need some of this. You need these clips. You need this kind of stuff. It's just imperative for baseball to stay alive. It's a huge thing for that Tampa market. Wander Franco has injected life into the Rays franchise. Shut up.
I love it, dude. Great stuff. Great final thoughts from Dustin. I love doing that every episode because Dustin always does his homework. He always brings it, and it's a great little segment to end the show. That'll make a great little short there, man. That was good stuff. Yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah. But, man, look, we're going to wrap this thing up an hour in. Love to see it. It was a great episode, great night. Love talking to you, Dustin, like always, man. If you could, everybody go subscribe right down there at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe to the channel now. We would love it, appreciate it. Go check us out on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We're everywhere, man. We are everywhere. You can find us anywhere and everywhere. Click the bell for notifications so when we do drop our content, you will get a notification. And as always, get in the comment section. Leave us what you think about the episode. We have a couple people each and every episode comment. The regulars seem to start flowing in. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we're just here for the journey, and we're glad to have each and every one of you right along with us. So we will leave you guys with a War Damn Eagle like always, and let's go win a damn baseball series this weekend. War Eagle. See you on the next one. We're out.